Hello, everyone. Hi, Jeffrey. I hope everyone here in the U.S. had a great Thanksgiving. A neighbor brought me some turkey, and we have opposite political views. I'm hoping that starts a trend here in the U.S. I doubt it, but it can be done. Hello, Sinatra. So, abbreviated session today, Warriors. U.S. dollar yen still doing nothing. U.S. Euro USD. Too much. What is that? Harmonica, tryptophan, whatever is in Turkey. Still looks good. Still think we'll make new highs. Pound. I was really surprised. You see here, this high was 97, and this high was 98. Shabbat Shalom, Amira. I'm really surprised that we did not take out these highs and elect stops here. We start taking out today's lows, I think the correction would ensue. I'd rather see one more push up. I mean, that's about 80 pips, and that could happen. And some type of stop hunt above these highs. So not doing anything new there. Looking at the Dixie. I mean, it's diverging all the way down here, traders. You have it on all time frames. And I may try it at the 78.6 level next week. There is a lunar eclipse. I get Norm Linsky's stuff. He's looking for a change in energy. Happens over the weekend, the lunar eclipse. I would say the dollar might be a good shot. You know, we still haven't taken out this low. Okay. So we got pretty close on this candle. We got down to 84. That's only 10 points away from this low at 74. Have to think they're going to go for it. And then 78.6 back is 91.44. So this could be an attempt for a dollar reversal because look at how the divergence is building. We haven't made a new low here, but I doubt that we're going to go below 30. And this was the last low. And you know what Blake was saying last week. Can you think of any bullish narrative for the dollar? And every bank is bearish a dollar. DSI is still kind of up there. I don't know, 65 or so for the euro. Not as much for the pound. About 35 for the Dixie. So this is a reversal candidate for me next week. And just want to point out that we have the S&P at the 88.6 level up here, at this 78.6 level here. Okay, the high was at 88.6. And we also have NASDAQ playing around with the 78.6 level too. So I put a small piece on, see what happens over the weekend. We could be getting a failing rally in crude. You know, we did diverge at the final high up here. Maybe we get some type of ABC here in crude. Maybe all the way back towards 42. Big break in VIX this morning. Interesting. Okay, and gold, silver. Gold really can't mount any kind of rally here. Silver, they still look ugly to me. And they're doing it with yields down, okay? So yields are going down. US dollar yen is heading down, and gold can't rally. And those are normally favorable conditions, which again tells you how weak it is. A DSI is down to 20 or so for gold and silver. And the untradeable yen still looks much better than the dollar. Look at the yen, look at the dollar. So even if the dollar makes a new low. I don't know if the yen's going to take out 103.60. So that's something else I'd be looking to put on. You can put it on here and risk the lows of the move under the 78.6 level. I'm going to wait till Monday. The only new thing I put on, I'm already underwater 15 points on NASDAQ here. So we'll see what happens. And any questions? Okay. So I know Blake, hello, Michael. I know Blake is taking some time off. If you guys could ask me some questions because we have time today. Anything? Going once, going twice, or I'll bring Stell or Steve in.
What are those guys?
Yeah, those guys. Bitcoin. I'll let Steve talk about it. I think there was a big correction, but it's not over.
We talked. Good morning. We talked about Bitcoin on Wednesday, didn't we?
Yeah, that it was overdone, and you thought it was time to get out. And that
I haven't been long. I haven't traded at all. But I said, look, if you've been long, well done. Bitcoin was pushing towards all-time highs. Ethereum at 600. I said, if you're long, you have to take profits now. And look what's done. What is done.
Yeah, that was a great out suggestion, Stell. And what was the fundamental reason? Something happening at exchanges, eliminating margin for retail traders. Is that it?
There was something, I can't remember the details, but also there was some news about which government was it that's going to be taxing or, I can't remember the reason, but, what I always say is people who buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin, but people who buy Bitcoin as a short-term trade, yes, I think you can make loads of money. But people who think that Bitcoin
or lose loads of money,
but people who think that Bitcoin is going to replace fiat currencies and they think that governments are going to allow that to happen, my humble opinion, it's never going to happen. That's my opinion. Obviously, I could be wrong. But
and those that believe that, I have a bridge to sell them.
Yeah.
How about governments coming up with their own, and that's why they've looked?
Yes, they will. Of course.
Of course, they will.
Okay.
Of course.
Many governments have already hinted, about that.
But the thing is, I wrote this on the chat room this morning. I said, look, governments are running deficits, pretty much every government, and deficits are going to be here. They're large, and they're going to continue pretty much forever. For you to be able to run deficits, you need to be able to adjust the money supply accordingly, and you can't do that with Bitcoin or with gold or with anything. This is it's supposed to be a finite supply. Obviously, cryptos is not finite because you can have a million other coins, different ones, but still, it's supposed to be a finite supply. So if governments need to have deficits, they have to have some kind of fiat currency to go with it. I don't see any other way. Anyway, maybe I'm stupid, but that's my view.
Okay, so what would be the government's reasons for going digital? It's already digital. I mean, when the Fed prints up
of course,
this kind of money,
it's not that they put a printer. Yeah,
I know. That's what a lot of people imagine. Wow, that printing press. Okay,
Have I told you that story?
No.
My wife has a childhood friend, and she's married to a guy. No need to say more about that. I mean, this guy is like, the most naive, but at the same time, passionate kind of guy. So he conversation went there, and he was trying to explain to me how pissed he is about the damage central banks do to forests by printing all that money.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I swear, and it took me a long time to persuade the guy that they're not actually printing money on paper.
While he was telling you that story, was he hugging a tree in your backyard or something?
He's the type of guy, I have nothing against vegans or whatever, I love animals, but he's the type of guy, which I find it funny, that he became a vegan at the age of like 30 something because he saw a YouTube video about a bunny and how they kill them, to eat them, etc. Which, if it took you 30 something years to realize that, yes, when you eat animals, somebody Yeah, somebody has to kill them. Something's wrong. But
it was, the cute little bunny. You could kill an ugly pig or fat cow, but leave the bunnies alone. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, guys, pretty quiet, of course.
Oh, metal's just getting slammed here.
What is?
On silver.
Metals.
Getting
Let's
slammed.
see.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the yen, US dollar yen, and even BIPs yields are coming down and they're weak. I don't know, but we're going to get to your zone. You still have the conviction at another $1.80 lower.
Let me grab the screen.
Go ahead.
Neil, because I want to show you. This is what I had on the 4-hour chart for gold.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it was clearly this type of price action.
Right.
Smells from far away that it's about to poop the bed, right?
Yeah.
Same here with silver. If you notice, this is a 4-hour chart. I don't update them necessarily every day.
It's about a $3 range here.
Yeah. So you can see that both of them, especially gold. I mean, this is like a textbook bear flag, right? Textbook.
Yeah, it looks perfect.
Yeah, I mean, such a weak reaction after this plunge lower.
Yeah.
So no surprise there. I think we might get to visit the 1750 to 1765 area, which is going to be great. I mean, the lower it can go, the better it is, better prices to buy.
I agree, and I think if we do get a risk-off move, every time I say this, people laugh, but if we do get one in equities, then this move might be a little bit more pronounced. I think we'll get 21 in silver. We might get 19. I really hope we do. But
yeah, that would be a dream scenario, honestly.
And it's funny, after the COVID crash in March, when central banks and governments, they said, right, we're doing trillions of measures and this and that. Everybody knows, right, that in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, gold, silver are going to be a lot higher. Equities are going to be a lot higher. Everybody knows that. So everybody gets on the bus, and you saw how silver and gold just, went really strongly higher. But then when everybody goes the same way, what's going to happen, right? There's going to be a correction. It's the same thing with the dollar now. Everybody knows that it's going a lot lower. Yeah. Well, let's not be surprised when it jumps a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to go to the moon, but I think
it's a certainty, Stelio, that as it always happens, when the boat gets too loaded, it will first have to capsize for all the bad swimmers to drown.
It happens every time.
Steve's in a good mood today.
Has happened every time for decades and decades. That's how it is.
Yeah, what are the reporters and financial journalists attributing the decline in precious metals to? I mean, they always have a story for why it's going up. Why are they saying they're going down?
I think the main story is the fact that, look, the recovery seems to be here. Things are better. Growth seems to be recovering better than expected. So probably less.
You don't need gold.
Less stimulus. Yeah, exactly.
Less stimulus. So higher rates. That's the concept supposedly. Higher rates.
Yeah.
Higher real rates. Because don't forget that gold couldn't care less about nominal rates. It's all about real rates.
Yeah.
So what? Because it's all about theoretically speaking, it's all about the opportunity cost. That once you tie up money in gold, that money yields nothing. So you're missing out on the opportunity cost to put your money to work somewhere else. Now, of course,
we would need like what, Steve, a 2% 10-year for it even to be not just a nominal rate.
Depends on the inflation. Depends on the inflation is the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at some point, I'm not going to be surprised to have like 2% rates and 3.5% reported inflation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if reported inflation is 3.5%, God knows what inflation is actually going to be, like 5-6%. Who knows?
By the way, one of our friends is saying that it's risky to declare on a webinar that we said that the Bitcoin is clearly not the future. I said I don't think it's going to. Actually, no. It's not going to replace fiat currencies. It's not going to replace the dollar and the euro and all that. It will have a use. I don't know what that use is going to be, but in my opinion, it's never going to replace fiat currency.
The technology is good.
Yeah, and
now,
blockchain and all that, of course.
Yeah, blockchain is good. There's no question about it. It's here to stay, and it's going to have more usages, right? Now, my big problem with current cryptocurrencies, I'm all for cryptocurrencies in the same way I'm all for gold under one condition, which, I think none of them actually ticks that box. What's the difference between a cryptocurrency and a fiat currency? There is one difference. Somebody can claim that there is a finite supply, right? Which, a lot of question marks, arise because of what Stelios mentioned and we've said before. Yes, for a single specific cryptocurrency, you have finite supply, but, nobody restricting you in making infinite number of cryptocurrencies.
I want to know what I want to know why it's risky to make any declaration on a webinar. Do the webinar police come and give people tickets if they make a statement that perhaps other people don't agree? I want to know what's the risk of doing that maybe you won't come here because it's free. You'll still
people
in any case,
anyway, I don't know.
The biggest problem remains that exactly as fiat currencies, there is nothing backing. There is nothing backing Bitcoin, for example. So, what is Bitcoin worth? Somebody can easily claim zero, right? Of course, in any market, something is worth as much as somebody is willing to pay for it. There's no question about it. I'm not doubting basic, demand and supply. But I mean, under other circumstances, or something changes, or they regulate it like to death or whatever else, it can go to zero. Can gold ever go to zero? Absolutely no way in a million. Why? Because it has actual usages. We do use gold for various of reasons. I mean, from electronics to satellites to dentistry to semiconductors. I mean, we do plenty of things with gold. So gold can never go to zero. Bitcoin can easily go to zero, or any other type of cryptocurrency.
President Trump uses it on his toilet. His gold toilet. So don't forget that use of gold. Hold on. That was a risky thing to say on a webinar. Webinar police, they're coming.
Our friend Grigoris is saying that oil went negative. Yes, oil futures, one contract went negative. Yes. Not the actual thing. Nobody was paid to take oil. If you wanted to go long oil, any future you want to buy was way above zero. It was still like the front future was still like $30, wasn't it, or something like that? So it went negative. That was purely a play on a financial instrument, and people who trade that, they're willing to take a risk that this is going to happen. Anyway, it's a detail.
Yeah.
So maybe
risky behavior, man.
In 50 years, if Bitcoin has taken over the world, then we will have been wrong. And we're wrong on many things, right? We're not right on everything. Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we will have people who agree and who disagree. End of story.
It's all about the ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
How frequently you're wrong in comparison to how frequently you're right.
Yes, absolutely. So what do you want to have a look at? You want to have a look at some currencies and
oh yeah.
What questions
there's a good one. Jeffrey Wetzel says, what about ripping off the tag on your new mattress? There's a stern warning on those too. Have you seen those? Don't remove.
Nice one,
Makes me want to rip it off.
Do not remove.
Nice one, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, a good one.
Okay.
All right.
What do you want to have a look at? We have a few questions about sugar and natural gas and stuff, but we can have a look at a few currencies, maybe, or whatever you want.
That was a nice look on Euro Yen, Steve. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, crude oil, by the way, another, in my opinion, bullish consolidation. You can see it here on the 4-hour chart, right? Here it is on the daily. I think it's headed lower, and here is natural gas. It has broken out of this channel. Yeah, I think it looks good. Beautiful reaction from the lows. The move lower was perfectly channeled. So I see no reason why somebody should be negative on the price of natural gas. Needless to say, we've been saying that for a long time. Crude looks, very well bid, and for the time being, I don't see any headwinds. Especially as long as risk stays very well bid. I mean, the S&P at all-time highs, basically more or less. We slightly pulled back after this strong move higher for a couple of days, and it is even a possibility we're going to get an all-time high close today. I mean, totally possible. Nasdaq seems to be breaking out of this triangle, so everything seems like a risk on wind is blowing, and I don't see something spoiling it. Now, since Blake isn't here to go through the majors, we should have a look at some of the FX pairs. With the first one I wanted to show, because I think it's quite interesting, is the Kiwi. And I think it's quite interesting. Here's a 4-hour chart of the Kiwi, because I'm actually keeping track of this potentially ascending wedge. So, I want to see confluences also nicely with this horizontal resistance area just below 70.50. So I want to see if, we can get some kind of a reversal lower from here. But keep in mind that, looking for reversals is always a low probability scenario. And for the time being, we do know that the Kiwi remains very well bid. Here is the daily chart. Here's the Kiwi trading above this channel, also trading above this descending trend line resistance that has been cleanly broken.
And the RBNZ basically eliminated for now the chance of negative interest rates, so that gave it a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, true. Although temporarily, most likely, and we see. Here's the Aussie diverging a little bit, not a new high yet, but definitely quite close. We're still seeing this divergence play out through the Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi is striving to hold this descending channel trend line support. Nothing to do yet, but if I see a reversal there, I think it's going to be an interesting pair to trade. Now, the cable pulling back from the same trend line, channel trend line resistance that we've been monitoring for quite some time. We've said many times that from a risk reward perspective against this channel's resistance, playing it to the short side makes sense. Yes,
we have Barnier, who's coming to London or going to London. I keep thinking I'm still living in London. He's going to London to speak with Boris Johnson, or his delegates or whoever. So things are moving there. Maybe we'll get something over the weekend. I don't know, but I think the pound's going to move either way, no matter what happens. The cable goes to 140 in a heartbeat, or it goes down to 125. So it's going to be.
Yeah, by the way, having to do with the euro pound, we're still consolidating in this descending channel. We've held the previous lows. I think we're going to have a beautiful move out of this channel. Question remains which direction. Technically speaking, would be much better looking if we actually ended up breaking to the upside. But as you said, this is a binary event. There's no way to predict the outcome, via analyzing, a chart. So, it remains to be seen. I do think so, though, that a breakout in either direction should have very, very nice follow through. So, we are in a wait and see mode. Now, Euro USD.
I think I agree, and I think pound pairs are the pairs to play. I'm going to play them when we do get something definite in Brexit, if it's positive or negative. I don't mind if I miss the first move. I'm just going to get on it, because it's going to continue after a little bit of a shaky start.
Yes, it absolutely should. It absolutely should. Pound Aussie, by the way, testing this channel's trend line support. Pound Kiwi. Now, this is one interesting I wanted us to have a look at, because Pound Kiwi seems to be making a move breaking down from this channel. Needless to say, the importance of this channel, right? This channel dates back to 2016. So it's a 4-year formation, and we are attempting to break down from it. A very, very, very bearish development. So, here is another pair that would look very, very good if for some reason the negotiations broke down. We should see a big move lower from here, which would make sense from a technical perspective, breaking down from such an important and long-term formation. Pound Aussie, not very dissimilar, as you see. I mean, this whole move after this sharp move lower, this whole move, looks to be corrective. So, looks like it wants to move lower more than it would to move higher. But as I said, it's not easy to take a position ahead of Brexit developments. That's the only certain thing, because it can literally blow up in your face. Now, if you remember, Blake mentioned the other day Euro Swiss, and I said that Euro Swiss was testing resistance. So, we got rejected from that resistance once again. So it's worth noting for any of you that trades it. More interestingly, I'm watching USD Swiss here, which is coiling within this flat bottom triangle. I think this is going to be a nice candidate for an acceleration either way. Either we break below 89.90 or we break above 91.80. So it's like a 90 pip range. I think a breakout from this 90 pip range should produce nice follow through. Now let's see which direction it breaks to. Logic says, given the prior move, there is a higher probability, a much higher probability to see this pair break to the downside than actually breaking up to the upside. So, that's what I'm mostly looking for here. Silver almost 3% down, by the way. Yeah? Nice breakdown from this triangle.
A little bit more, please.
Yeah, nice breakdown from this triangle. Likely
19.
that we're going to target this, alternatively, these channels. I mean, taking the parallel from this trend line resistance, ending up targeting these channels.
And that was support. A breakout.
Yeah, or we might just stall again at the previous low. That's also a probability at 21.64. But this is one of the occasions and one of the instruments that personally I would definitely trade with a medium to long term horizon. So personally, I have no problems, scaling in between these levels and, getting exposed to, having a position and increasing that position. And, once I see a reversal higher, a formidable reversal higher, then I would have no problem pressing, further and accumulating even more. So, that's what I think about it. And as I've said before, if you're looking to do it long term, doing it, through buying physical, I think is an excellent option. Yes, it's not as efficient as with gold, which, in a very small volume, you can have, very high worth of material, but still, I mean, doesn't take that big of a space unless you're thinking of buying millions and millions, but you can gain some nice exposure without really needing too much space. Now, having to do with the rest of the metals that a friend here is asking, platinum seems completely unfazed by the tumble lower in the metals. In all actuality, it has broken out and it seems to be holding up. So my assumption is that if it keeps holding despite gold and silver having turned lower, once they turn higher once again, platinum should explode to the upside. So keep that in mind. And palladium keeps on doing what it has been doing during the past several days, which is basically nothing. Copper, on the other hand, punched through this, key resistance area at 330 basically, and that's a very, very bullish development breaking out of here. So keep that in mind. And another friend was asking about nickel, which, as you see, looks similar to copper. I mean, it hasn't broken out from previous highs, but it's, it's trading within an ascending channel since the same period when we got all these reversals, right? And keep in mind, look at this beautiful, we pinpointed it back then, bottoming formation that actually nickel built by forming this inverted head and shoulders formation, which worked out, nicely. We've already hit the target 3-4 times, so this played out very nicely. Now at some point I think that they should they should correct lower. I don't think you should be buying them here, but admittedly they look quite nicely. I mean, I have not much to say. Now other people were asking about Bitcoin, and look at this, almost made it to the all-time highs and then boom, crash. That's another problem with this cryptocurrencies, that it's, I mean, this type of volatility, it's stupid both ways. Now as you see, I had already drawn that trend line, that area of support resistance prior to this move lower. As you see, we actually found support at the first area of support. But in all actuality, if you look at the 4-hour chart, I think we're probably building some type, it's too early to tell. I mean, the price action is too early to tell, some type of a corrective formation. Will it be a triangle? Will it be a pennant? Will it be a flag? We will have to find out. I think that against 17,500 or even a little bit higher, we might see another leg lower before we can actually continue higher in cryptocurrencies. And I'm mostly monitoring Bitcoin and Ethereum. You'll see that Ethereum exactly the same deal here. Sharp move lower. I think we're building some type of a corrective consolidation before we produce at least one more leg lower. That's my main case scenario. So I do think that there's still, very bullish. I mean, you can see the major breakouts, right? But I think this is a market that moved. No, I don't think it is a fact. I mean, this market has moved too fast, too much, and definitely, the usual victims bought the FOMO at the wrong timing, and probably the market wants to shake those people out before it can actually continue higher. Thank you for your kind words.
Silver down 80 cents, 3.5%.
1 kilogram is the minimum way to buy silver in London. Yes, Jane, that's that's accurate. But on the other hand, silver is not that expensive, really. I mean, I think buying 1 kilogram is not the end of the world, right? Having to do with an investment, I think it's still a rather small investment. What about pounds? Yeah, we did talk about pounds. Sugar. Can you give me, Didier? Can you give me? Can you please give me a ticker for sugar, and I'll be more than happy to have a look at it for you.
Sugar, honey. You are my candy girl.
There you are, and you said that I'm in a good mood. You seem to be in a better one.
Well, it's because I have such a great lineup of guests next week. I have Aaron Elliott, I have W.D. Gann, I have Jesse Livermore, and Elvis Presley coming out.
Oh yeah,
week. Yeah,
the king.
Yeah.
Nice.
Strong lineup.
Silver is just going.
Gold is just pooping the bed, as Blake would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slicing through the 200 DMA. Yeah, it was a natural development, to be honest. Slicing through the 200 DMA, and next stop roughly at 1750. Oh, I love this. I mean, so many people will start turning really bearish here.
All right, so there's a symbol, sugar USD. Didier saying. Yeah.
Let's also pay attention to this trend line. Let's change this trend line to an intermittent one. Okay, give me again the symbol. Sugar USD. There we go. So last time we had a look at it, it was back then, and I expected a pullback towards at least this area. We did a lot more than that, as you see. So what do we have?
Nice ascending channel.
Look at this, Stelio. We had a false breakdown from this key support area.
Oh, wow.
And then after we sent every bull home, right?
Yeah.
And
that's brutal, man. Brutal.
Yeah. Then, Aliki.
It's like silver. Only it didn't do as much to the upside, but.
So what happens from here? Let's see. First of all,
pull back to 12 cents or something.
First of all, let's see what kind.
Fibs.
Okay, as you see,
perfect.
This channel seems to be working quite nicely. We should now take this low and change it because we had a lower low to, come on, let's zoom in. There we go. Let's also get a few more targets by fib extending this. So we stalled. Now this is quite interesting. So let's also fib extend this. So let's see what we have. So we stalled at the confluence of the 88.6 and this ascending channel's trend line resistance. Next upside target is clearly the previous high. And then you can see upside targets from there. We have the 50% fib, also previous support resistance area. You can see it back there. There we go. There. At 0.164, right? And then we're targeting 0.18, but we'll probably need of a little bit of a deeper pullback first, I would assume, before we can continue higher. Okay. That's what I think is happening here. Here come the lollipops. Says Jeffrey. Tesla. Oh yeah, Tesla is. Stelio buying Tesla?
Nope.
Huh?
No way.
Look at this. Look at this. I mean, sometimes, you know, just ignore fundamentals because technicals are so beautiful. I mean, can you get a more perfect symmetrical triangle than this? In all honesty, I mean, how can somebody be seeing this type of price action and saying, I want to go short?
Look how quickly it's reached the target.
Yeah,
right?
what's the concept of saying here that I want to be short? That fundamentally it's overvalued, but it's already, you know, the fundamental even there, the price is obscene. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, you know, just then debating the extent of ridiculousness makes no sense, right? I mean, it's ridiculous here, it's ridiculous there, it's going to be ridiculous there. I mean, who cares? So yeah, beautiful symmetrical triangle. As Stelios said, just by eyeballing it, and I would agree with him, this seems to have already more or less hit the target. No, not exactly. The target is...
do it on Monday.
Yeah. Target is roughly at 16.15, let's say. So 6.15
yeah.
seems to be the target. Why not? Stelio? Any objections?
Like you said, you know, the price is ridiculous here. It's going to be more ridiculous there. Same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing really changes. I mean, it's just ridiculous. At some, you know, I can predict one thing with absolute certainty. There are going to be books written about the price of Tesla one day, but we still don't have the ending for the books to actually matter, right?
Yeah.
We still don't have the ending. We're going to get an ending for this, and it's going to be quite interesting as we got for the Nasdaq. in the 99, 2000 era, etc. But this, I mean, the fundamental assumptions behind this price is that there's going to be some type of a global disaster that's going to destroy the productive ability of every single company, with the exception of Tesla, to make cars.
I think what the market is pricing is that in 10 years' time, or 15 or 20, car manufacturers are going to be consolidated so much that there's going to be one or two left who actually create these self-driving cars that you control from your iPhone or whatever. And Tesla is going to be the biggest player in the world by far, because their market cap now is way above Toyota and BMW and all that combined.
Yeah. Another question is, what are the odds of the scenario you just described? Yeah, any scenario can play out, right? But what are the odds that this scenario plays out so you can actually get vindicated for buying this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot.
Yeah. Is it like 1%, 5%, 0.1%?
I think in the future, car ownership is not going to exist. I think that there's going to be 2 or 3 big corporations that build these self-driving cars. You're going to say, I want a car here in 1 minute. It's going to come. It's going to take you to the destination automatically. Then you're going to go, no parking, no nothing. And that's how it's going to be. So people are not going to be owning cars. But is it Tesla who's going to be doing that? I don't know.
I don't think so. What company is this? A friend here asked for it. I mean,
yeah.
What company is this?
They do software, right? They do, they're related to Tesla, aren't they? Hold on, let me check.
Jesus, I mean,
there have been lots of those things.
Look at this.
Yeah.
EVs, yeah.
Electric, Chinese.
So yeah. Basically Chinese Tesla.
Yeah, okay. Whatever.
That I think has more chance of actually happening, because it's more likely that a Chinese Tesla equivalent is going to be selling millions of cars there.
Yes, because if it's a company approved by the party, you know what I mean.
Exactly. It can be a very closed economy, the Chinese one.
Exactly. I mean, it can actually be a monopoly, but a US company being a monopoly, I mean, not likely to happen, right?
Jeff says, who is this Neo? Is this the guy from the Matrix?
Listen, looking at the price, it has to be the guy from the Matrix.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
And it's clearly taking the blue pill.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some fun here. I like it.
A guy who sold his house to buy Neo says probably he now has
10 houses. Yeah.
10 houses or so. Yeah.
Wow, well done.
But for every story like that, there are always the guys that sold their house to buy X and they're homeless, right? Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And the thing is, of course, you always hear the story of the guy that sold his house to buy Bitcoin at $100 and now he's a gazillionaire. But
you never hear the other way.
You'll never hear the story of the guy that sold his house to buy Nasdaq at 1999, right? And then he was living off food stamps 6 months later.
Yep. James says Neo market cap just passed General Motors. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is, indeed. Our usual friend here wants to know about USD INR, so yeah, why not have a look at it? There it is. So USD INR still consolidating here. Nothing has really changed. Pay attention to this trend line resistance and this trend line support. Whichever breaks first, we know the outcome, because there are 2 scenarios here to give you an idea. Scenario number 1, this whole thing is a larger consolidation after this clearly bullish move higher, right? In which case we resume higher. The second case scenario is that this corrective move is still playing out and we need one more leg lower. So how are we going to know which of the 2 happens? As I said before, I must be thinking of Blake.
You miss Blake.
Yeah, we break through the blue trend line. Then it's the latter scenario. We still have one more leg lower to go, in which case I would be looking for a move towards 72. We break through the red trend line. I think we're going to be hitting a higher high, right? So bottom line, let's say resistance at 74.50, support, let's say at 73 and change. Anything in between, in my opinion, is noise. So I wouldn't be trading it between these two levels. You buy the breakout or you sell the breakdown. That's what I think about it. You also want to know about the Nifty. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Nifty, last time I checked it, was very, very bullish. I mean, there it is. Yeah, clearly bullish. Next upside target remains the 127% extension of this move lower that we had, the COVID move lower, which comes at 13,770. I think that from this point on, this 12,430 previous high should be support. Clearly overextended in the short term, so we might see a pullback first, but I don't think there is any real reason to change the outlook. Bank Nifty, of course, benefits from the lift in the Nifty, but of course continues to underperform because, as I've explained before, the banks will keep lagging because the banking profitability model has been completely broken. So yes, of course, a tide lifts almost all boats. So, when the Nifty is going to be exploding higher, clearly the bank Nifty is not going to be doing bad, but, it's still going to continue to underperform on average, right? There is always, of course, in any market, there are always, of course, periods that even, the most battered down market might have a little bit of an overperformance window because, some type of a headline came out or some short-term expectation, for example, that rates are going to move higher, or most importantly, that the yield curve is going to steepen, because to be honest, the bank profitability model has mostly, if not only, to do with the steepness of the curve and not specifically the yields themselves. It's more about the spread in the short end to the long end. Any other questions? Let's see.
Euro Thai baht.
What the hell is that?
I bet you've never traded that.
Oh, you can be certain about it. Euro THB.
Someone lives in Thailand, I think.
First of all, let's start from the very, very, very short term. For my standards, very short term. This move higher tells me that we're likely not done moving lower, right? Not as long as we trade below this area of resistance. So I think against this area, look lower. Now, on the other hand, we have to acknowledge that this was clearly a very bullish formation there. I mean, that should be easy for anybody to recognize. So I'm not sure that the downside is too much. So short term looks rather bearish to me, but longer term, this reaction higher has been decent so far and no real reason to believe that it's over. So I think that medium to long term against 34.50 higher, but in the short term against 36.50, I wouldn't be buying it. So that's what I can tell you about it. Please look at the ruble. Let's have a look at it.
I bet it's doing great with oil rallying.
Where is it hiding though? There it is. Here it is. Not doing that great, Stelio. Actually, the move lower has been really underwhelming so far, right? So I'm not really convinced here. I mean, remains extremely weak considering the big rally we've had in crude, with the combination of the rather weak dollar. So although fundamentally in the long term I like this pair a lot to the downside, I have to say that nothing I see here inspires me to say that, we've actually started, the move lower. I would be very, very careful here. So, fundamentally I like it to the downside, but I don't see that we're at the, at the moment we're at a position that I would say, you buy it here and, you're going to do well. No problem, Didier. Stelio, do we have anything else before we call it a day?
I don't think so. We answered quite a few questions. I don't have anything else to say. We talked about Brexit and what's going to happen today with Barnier. The other main thing is that Donald Trump actually said that, for those who haven't read it, he said that if the Electoral College does give a result that favors Biden, he's going to accept it and move on. So that's pretty important.
That's December, I think, 13th. Still.
December 13th. Thank you.
I don't want to tout my own horn, Dale, and I'm not the guy that's going to tell you I told you so.
No, you're not.
I told you
so. But I did tell you so, right?
Yeah, you did. But there's still 60 days, and this guy is mercurial, and that's when he's stable.
In any case, I think that for various reasons, you want my complete outlook about what I believe will happen with Trump.
Sure.
I think that for various reasons, he's not going to really pursue this aggressively. I think that he's going to continue with all the legal stuff so he can keep building a rhetoric that, they stole the election from us, etc. And of course, he's never going to stop claiming that.
Right.
I think he's going to leave the presidency without creating any big issues whatsoever. But I think that he's going to be way different than any ex-president we've had so far.
Yeah.
I think that in essence,
that they just keep their mouth shut.
Yes, I think that in essence he will actively be in politics and playing, the other side of the coin as long as he's not in power. And there is a very good chance that he's going to try to run again in 2024.
I think some German guy did that.
Global, it has, it has happened multiple times. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget that the vast majority of the countries don't even have a limit in terms, right?
Well, actually, I read that since he was impeached but not removed from office, that this term doesn't really count, and he can be president for another 2 terms.
No, he can't. No, I mean,
because of the
I don't. No. Listen, I don't know about the legal stuff. I'm talking physically here, right? I'm talking pure mathematics.
Oh, he'd be too old for 2 terms.
He can't. Yeah. He can't. There is no way. Can he be president again in 24 to 28? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But do I think that he can be president to 2032? No, I don't. So, because of physical limitations, I don't think that would be the, a scenario in any case.
Yeah.
But he's a bull, right? He got out of COVID in a day.
Yeah, he did. He did. But he got treatment that a lot of people with COVID aren't getting.
Yes, obviously. And to be honest, it makes sense. The same would apply to any leader of any country, right? I mean,
any rich guy.
Yeah, you obviously have access. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you can't be the president of the United States and not have access to, anything and everything that can help. And it's obvious that you're going to have a team of doctors on top of your head 24/7.
Yeah.
Every single second. Even the nurse that will come in, she's going to be like a medical doctor with 3 specializations, probably.
So let me ask you this: since you were talking about age, then you're probably thinking that Biden can't go 2 terms either.
Nah, be serious, no.
No, you don't think so, right?
No.
He's just there to,
I agree.
you know, for the transition.
I think he's a placeholder.
It's unlikely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to get a vaccination and come to Greece.
You're more than welcome.
Really, I mean, you guys should open the country to anyone that gets a vaccine.
I'm pretty sure that all countries are going to open up to anybody that gets a vaccine, as long as we get proof that vaccines indeed create, you know, a high percentage of immunity, right?
Yeah, I think there was some bad news on the AstraZeneca one over the weekend. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, they're going to have to do some more. They're going to have to refine it more and do some more tests. I don't know, but yeah, it's.
Pretty sure that the same applies to the rest of the vaccines, but they're going to refine them after they test them to guinea pigs, being humans in this case.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll be one. Right. All right. So we'll see everyone Monday, huh? It was fun hanging out with you guys. I mean, I'm glad I got up for this. That lazy Blake Morrow drinking wine last night. I saw that picture. He's got an ice pack on his head this morning.
So everybody have a wonderful weekend. And yes, we'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really enjoy the weekend, everyone. Thank you. Let me ask before we go, anyone feel like joining so you could really get up to speed over the weekend? I'm going to give you a deal if you email Joe Perry and you want a semi-annual deal. Joe will give you a break. So it's jperry@forexanalytix.com. Remember, everyone, Thanksgiving is not just one day a year, and it's all over the world. So don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and the team and I will be here to leave it all on the court for you next week. Adios. Thank you, Steliosis.
Adios.
Adios, Steliosis. How do I say goodbye in Greek?
Addio. Addio. It's the same like in Italian.
Oh,
right? Addio.
Okay. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.